Hey, 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 it is Wednesday, and welcome to another episode of The Unexpected Detour. We are definitely in life, detours are inevitable. But today, I just want to come and talk about something that avoid, all of us. And it started like this. Someone recently passed away, and I had a conversation with them as to what they wanted to do with the person's remains. They explained to me what they wanted to do. And then I got to thinking about when my mother passed away. And I would say to myself, God, I know I can deal with her being sick rather than someone being murdered or, you know, committing suicide or I just knew I could deal with it. No, I was absolutely wrong. Because in 1999, as I sat there and my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and she said to me, if anything happens to me, I want you to cremate me. We've had this discussion before, but sometimes you'll have that discussion, and then sometimes the discussion will change. And that was all she said. And I'm like, Ma, you're not going nowhere. You'll be here for a while. Well, the day finally came, June 3rd, 2000, and she left. And me thinking that I could handle her being gone. All right, let's put it this way. She was sick. So I figured, it's easier to know that somebody's going to transition because they're sick rather than them being murdered, or like where I've had cousins that were young and they died at 16, you know. So those things were hard to fathom. But to watch somebody suffer was even worse. That's what I'm really trying to come across. Watching her suffer as she couldn't breathe, it was worse. But there's one thing I'm grateful about. I'm grateful about all the talks we had about death. Something that we as human beings, we have a tendency to avoid. And why? Because we have this notion we're going to live for the moment. We're going to buy this, buy that, have these fancy things and everything. We never plan for that part of life. We only plan for the moment. And the moment right then is I'm going to live my life. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. But you never think about your family. So, what I came on here to say is I think everybody should let their family know exactly what they want done when it's time for them to transition. Since we don't know when it's going to happen, it's always good to let someone in your family know exactly what you want done. And the other thing that bothers me is that a lot of people, why, I don't know, they don't think life insurance is important. Let me tell you something. Life insurance is very, very important. Very. If you don't have it, I suggest you get it. Though it's death benefits, that death benefit will help your family if, God forbid, you do transition and you want to have this elaborate funeral or just a cremation, whatever it is. You should never leave them in the dust. They should never, ever, ever have to go out here, put on Facebook a GoFundMe because you didn't think ahead of time. I've had life insurance since I was 17. My mother made sure she paid for it. When I got a job, I had to take over. So I've had life insurance. Though I've let it lapse, I did it over again. So I have life insurance. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. That is very important. But people have this mentality. And I notice when I talk to people, oh, I don't need life insurance because if I die, my job has life insurance. But what happens when you lose that job? You lose that life insurance. So therefore, you have nothing. I don't think you should depend upon your job for life insurance. I think you should take the time out, sit down, go purchase it, and sit with your family. Don't be afraid. Sure, we don't know when our time is up, but it's better to be readily prepared. All the stuff you have in your house, get a will or a living trust, put all that information in there. God forbid you end up in the hospital and you're on that last leg where you cannot make it and you're not going to make it. You should always have someone, a proxy care. A proxy care will be there to make the decisions for you. I learned all of this, not about the life insurance, that I knew about a long time ago, but I learned about that proxy care when it was my mother's time. And they asked her if she wanted a proxy care, and of course, it was me. So, being a proxy care is really, really, let's say, it's you in control of what happens to them. So, for me, it was kind of scary because here I am, I'm making decisions for my mother, and that was a hard thing to do. I mean, this lady, she had cancer. She had to get she had to have chemo. She had to get all kinds of things done. Very hard to discuss. So she had a lot of things done. But I do remember that she told me that if anything happens to her or if she's going, do not resuscitate. Now, that was really, really hard. That part, to just think that I am in charge of my mom's life. I'm her only child, and I have to make decisions like that. Really tough. But she saved me the trip. She put to resuscitate her. So, I mean, I wasn't there that day, but when I did go to the hospital, the doctor told me that she signed it. But like I said, you see all these little young kids out here dying, you know, it's good to get them life insurance too. I mean, it's really a bad thing to think about, but we live in a world where this gun violence and everything, all of these things, taking our kids out, taking people out, people who don't have life insurance, where their families are borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, they're using credit cards up. It shouldn't be that way. If anything, I'm telling you, listen to me. Get life insurance because you never know. Have your own personal life insurance and let somebody know where it is, the name of the company, just in case. Those things I was well prepared for. Those things I had prepared my son for, and those things, like I told him what to do with my remains, everything. So I learned from my mother and I learned from her sister who had a will. And in the will, everything in there, all her wishes were granted. Although they go to probate court and all that good stuff, but still, everything was honored in there. So, what I'm saying to you all, if you're seeing me and listening to me, prepare your family. Sit down and have these conversations. Don't be afraid to talk about what happens if I die. It is necessary. It's really necessary. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's a part of life. We live and we die. We don't know when we're going to go, but it's always good to have your family ready for that time and let them know what you want done. So I hope this message, it'll touch somebody that you'll think twice. And don't be afraid to talk about death. That's what we are afraid of, death. You know what? Now that I'm saying that, I used to ask my mother, crazy question, where do people go when they die? I would ask her that. I was like, you think they went to heaven or they went to hell? And her being fresh and smart said to me, well, guess what, Francis? Nobody ever came back and told me where they went, so I don't know. You just get it right and do it right. Huh? Then I had my son say to me one day, Ma, what happens if everybody did all these things that the Bible said to do and you find out you're already in hell right here? Hey, hey, so where do you go? I mean, those are questions that you think about, but me being a Christian or a believer, I believe that, you know, there is a heaven. We ain't gonna talk about the other place because I really think it's here. There's enough stuff going on here to make me believe that we're already there. So I believe that there is a heaven, and I'm not gonna say that we are all do everything right as Christians because no, because we're human. So we're not gonna do everything right, but you're not the judge. Only God could judge, and that we know. He is the judge and the jury. So at the end of our demise, when the spirit goes, then we'll find out, but we will never come back to tell you where we went. Isn't that something? So, with that being said, I will be back again on Friday with another episode of The Unexpected Detour, where in life we say detours are inevitable. Have a good day.